Hey team, welcome to AS Academy. I'm Harini and today we'll be looking at the most important current affairs of April 4 and 5 together combined. So without much delay, let's get into the first question. So the first question is, Rajasthan Renewable Energy Corporation Limited commissioned India's farm-based solar power project under which schemes? The answer is option A, PM Kusum. And the full form of PM Kusum is Pradhan Mantri Kisan Urja Suraksha Evam Uttan Mahabhiyan Yojana, and it is launched with the objective of providing financial and water security to farmers. Then moving on to the next question. So the second question is, India has contributed how much to UN entity for gender equality and the empowerment of women? So the answer is option C, USD 300,000. So India has contributed USD 300,000 to UN entity for gender equality and empowerment of women. So T.S. Tirumurthy, he is India's permanent secretary to the United Nations, stated that India has contributed USD 300,000, which is approximately INR 2.2 crore to the UN Women. So UN entity for gender equality and empowerment of women is also known as UN Women. Then moving on to the next question. So the third question is, who inaugurated the alignment and awareness event for publicity of DSIR PRISM schemes? The answer is option C, Harshvardhan. And the full form of DSIR is Department of Scientific and Industrial Research, and the full form of PRISM is Promoting Innovations in Individuals, Startups and MSMEs. And the event was organized by DSIR, which comes under the Ministry of Science and Technology, in partnership with three major national initiatives, namely Unnat Bharat Abhiyan under the Ministry of Education, RUTAG, IIT Delhi, and Smart India Hackathon. This also comes under the Ministry of Education. And then moving on to the next question. So the fourth question is, PayPal launches cryptocurrency checkout service in which country? So the answer is option A, US. So PayPal has launched cryptocurrency checkout in USA. PayPal Holding Inc. has started allowing US consumers to use their cryptocurrency holding to pay its online merchant globally. So then moving on to the next question. So the fifth question is, WTO, the multilateral trade body, in its trade forecast revised its global merchandise trade volume growth for 2021 to how much from the earlier forecast of 7.2% in October 20? So the answer is option D, 8%. So the World Trade Organization, the multilateral trade body, in its trade forecast revised its global merchandise trade to be 8%. Then moving on to the next question. So the sixth question is, following the rise in cybersecurity breaches, which apex body has tightened its supervision norms over payment companies that are storing consumer data? So the answer is option B, RBI. So after a series of cybersecurity breaches, apex body RBI, Reserve Bank of India, has tightened its supervision norms over payment companies. So from April 1, 2021, all licensed payment system operators have to submit detailed compliance certificate to the central bank twice a year, and it should be signed by the CEOs or the managing director of the companies. So then moving on to the next question. So the seventh question is, which organization has approved USD 32 million project titled Mizoram Health System Strengthening Project for improving management capacity and quality of health service in Mizoram? So the answer is option B. World Bank. So World Bank has approved USD 32 million project titled Mizoram Health System Strengthening Project for improving the management capacity and quality of health service in Mizoram. And the area of focus is reducing financial barriers in accessing hospital services. For this purpose, it will build cooperation with India's Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. So then moving on to the next question. So the eighth question is, the National Investment in Infrastructure Fund Limited made its first investment in the Indian healthcare sector by its investment of how much in Manipal Hospital? So the answer is option C, 2,100 crore. And NIIFL will get a minority stake in Manipal Hospital as chairman of Manipal Education and Medical Group. Rajan Pai is selling a small percentage of his stake in the company. Then moving on to the next question. So the ninth question is, the World Bank and Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank has approved the loan for the 300 million USD canal-based drinking water project in which state? So the answer is option B, Punjab. And the project will be co-financed by the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development of World Bank will be providing USD 150 million and AIIB, that is Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, will be providing USD 105 million and the government of Punjab will be providing USD 90 million. Then moving on to the next question. So the 10th question is, based on the data released by the Controller General of Account, the fiscal deficit of 11 months of financial year 2021, that is from April to February, stood at, so the answer is option C, 76%. The financial deficit for 11 months of financial year 2021 stood at rupees 14.05 lakh crore, which is about 76% of the revised estimates. And for financial year 20, the deficit was about 135.2% of the RE, that is revised estimates. Then moving on to the next question. So the 11th question is, Vice President of India present the Kalinga Ratna Samman for the year 2021 to whom to recognize his contribution to literature? So the answer is option A, Bishwabhushan Harichandran. So Vice President of India present the Kalinga Ratna Samman for the year 2021 to Bishwabhushan Harichandran. Then moving on to the next question. So the 12th question is, which of the following bank brought the Reliance Center of Reliance Infrastructure Limited at Santa Cruz, Mumbai for 1,200 crores? So the answer is option D, Yes Bank. And the sale of this office in Santa Cruz is utilized to pay the debt of Yes Bank. Then moving on to the next question. So the 13th question is, Bharat Dynamic Limited started the delivery of which surface to air missile system to the Indian Army? So the answer is option A, Akash missile. So Bharat Dynamics Limited has started the delivery of surface to air missile Akash missile to Indian Army as well as to the Indian Air Force, and the delivery was flagged off by Lieutenant General A.P. Singh. He is the Director General and Senior Commander, Army Air Defense. The missile is designed by DRDO. Then moving on to the next question. So the 14th question is, a new species of flowering plants was discovered in Western Ghats at Kolhapur district, Maharashtra. What is the name of this plant? So the answer is option C, Agaria. And this species has been named Agaria Sharat Chandraji in recognition of Mr. Power's contribution as Union Agriculture Minister. And then moving on to the next question. So the 15th question is, the International Boxing Association announced which country has the host country for 2023 Men's Boxing World Championships. So the answer is option B, Uzbekistan. And it will be held in Tashkent in Uzbekistan. For the first time, Uzbekistan is going to host the Boxing World Championship in its 22nd edition in 2023. Then moving on to the next question. So the 16th question is, who is the author of the book Supari Palana? So the answer is option C, S.K. Joshi. So S.K. Joshi is the author of the book Supari Palana. And the book was released by Vice President Venkaiah Naidu. This book is about the administration, public policy and governance in India. Then moving on to the next question. So the 17th question is, wisdom for startup from grown-ups, discovering corporate Ayurveda, authored by corporate leaders R. Gopalakrishnan and R. Narayanan, was published by which publishing house? So the answer is option A, Penguin Random House, India. So the book was published by Penguin Random House in India. Then moving on to the next question. So the 18th question is, the book titled Cinema Through Rasa, a Treatise with Masterpieces in the Light of Rasa Siddhant. It is the translation of which book? So the answer is option B, Abhinava Cinema.